What's good, YouTube? It's Justice I Used to Be Paying. Today I'm back with another video. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about how TikTok being banned changes the rap game. But before I get into that, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Do all those things. It helps me out a ton. TikTok is going to be banned on January 19th, and this is going to have a massive effect on American pop culture. TikTok has been the driving force of pretty much everything entertainment, news, and media over like the last 4 years or so in America. The app has had such an impact on everyone's daily lives. Even if you don't actually have the app, your life has been affected by TikTok, by the existence of this app. And TikTok has really had a massive impact on the music industry. The music industry has pretty much been flipped on its head via TikTok, with rap being a part of that. And with the arrival of TikTok came so many changes and so many new wrinkles to the music industry. And now with the potential departure of TikTok, so many changes are going to happen again, especially in the rap space. Now, I'm going to say this about the TikTok being banned thing. I don't think that it's a security issue. I don't think that this is for the safety of the people. And if I think that this is just kind of another way for the government to restrict information, because you can't control TikTok. That's the one thing that I love about the app. There's no like big force out there that can really control TikTok. The way the algorithm's set up, it's the people talking to the people. Information is being spread. It's so easy like to get people to communicate. I just think that this is another way to kind of shut that down. But that's just my opinion. I might be wrong. But I will say this. I'm going to list some of the good and some of the bad of this TikTok ban and how it will affect rap and the rap space. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm very biased. I like TikTok. I do. That's actually how I got my start as a content creator. I wouldn't be here right now making this video more likely than not if I wasn't on TikTok or if I didn't have TikTok. So I'm going to be pretty biased, but I will give the negatives and the positives. So it's not just going to be me just basically crapping on the idea of TikTok being banned. But I will say this. I'm going to start with the positives. All right. The first positive that will come from TikTok no longer existing is that we will no longer get those made for TikTok songs, which is probably the worst subgenre of music in the game right now. We all know those songs where you listen to them and you're just like, yeah, you definitely cooked that up with the idea that it was going to go viral on TikTok. It happens all the time, and it happens especially from like really big artists on a project, on an album. You can always find it. Just go through any big major artist album for the most part, not all of them, but for the most part, anybody that's signed to a major label, you can find the TikTok song that's on the project. More specifically, you can look at Lil Baby, right? On Lil Baby's last album, that was the Say Twin song. Say twin, say twin, say twin, say twin. Say twin, say twin, say twin. On the album before that, it was Hey. Pretty much any song that's on an album with a phrase that's being repeated over and over and over again, you can kind of tell that they were probably going for the whole TikTok thing. It's pretty obvious. I can't necessarily like describe it perfectly for every song, because some songs they don't do it with just like saying the phrase over and over again, but you can just kind of sniff out when somebody's going for a TikTok hit, and that's something that's probably going to go away very soon with TikTok not being in existence in America anymore. Or like when a song comes out and then like immediately before anyone can try to make a video to the song, before any of the people can try to make something creative with this new song, the artist comes out and goes, hey guys, do the so-and-so challenge. You play the song and you dance like this. See how I'm dancing? You guys should do it too. Tag 5 friends. I hate when that happens. I hate it. No trend is really started like that. Like, it just never works like that. It's always authentic. Please stop trying to force yourself to have a TikTok hit. It's very annoying. One song that I actually really do like that they definitely try this with is the Ski song. The song on one of the YSL albums. The song where it's like, yeah, remember when Young Thug and all them got on here and tried to get us to ski to the song and do that? It didn't really catch on the way they wanted to, but the song did well anyway, so I guess it didn't matter in the long run. But again, more examples of people trying to make TikTok songs. Very rarely does a song that's made for TikTok end up even being just a good song in general. I know I just said I like the Ski song, but that's like that's not the rule, that's the exception. Very rarely do these songs end up being good, and very rarely do these songs even end up actually trending on TikTok outside of like the first week of the artist heavily trying to push this song on us. But another positive of TikTok being gone is that we will not see as much gimmick rap. Now, gimmick rap is always going to be a thing. It's always existed. It always is going to exist. But gimmicky rap has had kind of like a thriving period over the last few years because of TikTok. Because TikTok likes to push kind of gimmicky things because, again, it's more of a dancing app. It's not necessarily a music app, but obviously, if you're going to be dancing, you probably want some music. So music is a major part of TikTok, but oftentimes a lot of really like corny or just jokey stuff will come out of TikTok, and songs will blow up on TikTok, which means they're kind of blowing up in real life, but they'll blow up because there's a funny meme behind the song. They'll blow up because there's a funny dance that goes with the song. They'll blow up because of the context of the song. They'll blow up because, somebody who's like an influencer on TikTok made the song. They'll blow up because of some sort of TikTok context that doesn't actually exist when you listen to the song outside of the TikTok context. And the song and the artist as a whole just kind of doesn't hit with anybody that's not directly in that TikTok audience. So a lot of the time we'll end up with artists that are just really kind of goofy, or not necessarily artists that are really goofy, but just like songs and waves that don't really work outside of TikTok. And if your sound and your wave can't work outside of TikTok, then it's probably just not that good in my opinion.
Cause my eyes switching, that mean there's somebody talking. 762, they like problem solvers. Especially with his top, watch his body falling. Hey baby boy, watch his body crawling. Yeah.
And again, this might be a little bit of a hot take, or maybe this is just kind of mean, but it's also kind of true in my opinion. I think we don't get the same Ice Spice that we got over the last few years if TikTok doesn't exist. Like, I don't think she blows up in the manner that she did without TikTok. I still think she does become very popular, but I just don't think we get the magnitude of Ice Spice having multiple top 5 Billboard hits and being in the Barbie movie. I don't know if all that happens without TikTok. I'm not going to lie, because Munch was probably going to go viral on any social media app, but specifically on TikTok, it hit way different. So I think Ice Spice still would have blew up. I just don't know if she would have blew up to the magnitude that she ended up. TikTok is really good at gathering the masses together and getting them to voice their opinions. And this is a good thing, but it also can be a really bad thing. TikTok is very good at pushing narratives. Once a narrative kind of gets rolling on TikTok, it is very hard to stop. It's very hard to go against that. And sometimes that can be a really negative thing in the rap space. And it can just completely like change how everyone feels about a song, an artist, or an album. You can see the multiple hate trains for somebody like Polo G, Lil Baby. And, even though I don't feel like Lil Baby's recent music has been good, I feel like it's kind of gotten a little out of hand on TikTok. But one major example of how the narratives can really flip on TikTok and just really just become super dominant is the song Carnival in early 2024. Carnival in early 2024 was one of the biggest songs in the world. It went number 1. It was a huge song. Everyone was talking about it. It was everywhere. It was like, oh my gosh, this crazy sound. Nobody heard anything like it. Everyone loved Carnival. And then we got the TikTok Riz Party. And that just kind of changed everything. Now, if you're hearing me say these words, TikTok Riz Party, as a grown man, and you have no idea what I'm talking about, I understand. I look kind of crazy. I get that. But the TikTok Riz Party, for anyone that doesn't know, is this party of these kids. They're like middle schoolers, maybe young high school, and they're just dancing. They're just having a good time dancing to music, and Carnival comes on, and they're all like trying to look really cool. It's just kind of cringy. It's nothing like too bad, but it's just kind of like a cringy video from like a middle school, high school age party, and it just kind of ruined the song Carnival for everyone. Like, nobody wanted to talk about that song after that video. Like, it was kind of like almost corny to play Carnival unironically after that TikTok Riz Party video came out. And it was literally just some kids having fun, looking a little goofy. It wasn't that deep, but that completely changed how people talked about the Carnival song. Like, that video, even though, again, it was just some kids having fun, it unironically changed the way people talked about Carnival on TikTok. Like, it was kind of taboo to talk about the song unironically and talk about listening to the song and post yourself enjoying the song after the TikTok Riz Party video. And again, it just wasn't that deep, but TikTok is very good at pushing narratives, and that's one positive thing that's probably going to come from TikTok being banned. Now, I'm going to get into the negatives, and the negatives are just way heavier. They outweigh the positives by 10 times, in my opinion. So I was being fair. I was trying to be a little unbiased by talking about some of the positives of TikTok being banned, getting rid of those like TikTok songs that are mandated for every album. Every major album has one mandated TikTok song on it. The gimmicky artists who really are, popular because they dance really well, or, maybe they made some funny memes, or there's something funny related to the song, or it's just a big person on the app making a song. We can get a little, we can get rid of some of that stuff as well, get rid of some of the more gimmicky stuff that happens on TikTok that blows up in rap, which just isn't very good. And also just the narrative pushing thing. But besides that, there's not that many positives, in my opinion, that can come from TikTok being gone. And there's just going to be way more negatives. The rap game losing TikTok will be a massive blow. And the first and most pivotal thing that will be gone with TikTok being gone is TikTok's amazing discoverability. Nowhere else on any social media platform is there discoverability like on TikTok. Anyone, anywhere, at any time can post one thing on TikTok and change the rest of their lives forever. And that's not me exaggerating. Obviously, it typically takes more than one post, but it can really happen in one post, and you can change your life forever on TikTok. And that just doesn't exist anywhere else. And that's what makes TikTok so amazing for all artists, because you're really just not that far away from blowing up beyond your wildest dreams. Like, multiple careers have really kind of started on TikTok and blown up to amazing successes and amazing heights because of TikTok's hyperspeed algorithm, where pretty much anyone can go viral in like 30 milliseconds, like anyone at any time, anywhere. And that's not an exaggeration. And that's what makes TikTok so great for small artists, especially because you have a chance. Every time that you post on TikTok, you're literally playing the lottery, because you can literally win any day. And that's what makes it so great. And that's why so many great artists have blown up, partially because of TikTok. Because the TikTok algorithm is so heavily influenced by the people. And if the people like something, it's gonna go up. Remember the JP guy? I'm JP.
You ever told a bitch I got G's? You ever make a bitty hit a knee?
Remember that dude? His entire career really only existed because of TikTok's ability to spread his posts. The Georgiana girl recently has blown up on TikTok, and she's doing a lot of really cool things right now. She has a solid career at the moment, and some of those names might be a little unfamiliar to you, but let me give you a more potent example if you don't really know who I'm talking about with those two. Yeet. Yeet's entire career really took off on TikTok. And he didn't even ever actually have TikTok, but TikTok is the reason why Yeet is so big to this day. Obviously, the reason more than TikTok is the fact that people just like his music. But without TikTok, I don't know if they're able to spread his music like wildfire the way that people were able to spread Yeet's music in 2021, which took him from, essentially a nobody online, no disrespect, to a major rising star in the rap game, and to now somebody who's selling close to 100K first week. TikTok took his career and just boomed it all the way to the top. The internet has allowed for smaller artists to have more discoverability more than ever before. Obviously, you don't really need a major label to be discovered, at least initially, right? People can find you without having a major label. But TikTok took the internet's ability to make people a lot more discoverable in music and multiplied it by 1,000 and made it so much easier and really helped even the playing field, level the playing field. You don't need to be signed to a major label. You don't need a whole bunch of crazy cosigns. You don't need to know this guy and know that guy. You don't need all of these crazy things. You don't need a whole bunch of money. You don't need a crazy budget. All you really need is to catch flame on TikTok. Now, that's not super easy. I know I'm making it sound like it's just easy as make one song and upload it on TikTok. It's not that easy, and it's never going to be that easy, and it never was that easy. But regardless, TikTok has helped even the playing field for smaller artists who just want to live their dream and make a whole bunch of money doing something that they love to do. And TikTok has helped more people live their dream than anything else on the internet. And that's why I love TikTok, especially that discoverability. That discoverability on TikTok is something that has never been replicated. And hopefully it does get replicated, but I don't know if it ever will because of how powerful it was. Careers are getting kickstarted in a mainstream, substantial way in less than like 15 posts sometimes. And the discoverability isn't just good for the artist, it's amazing for the fans as well, because TikTok's discoverability allows fans to discover new music. Fans are spreading and exposing other fans to new music at insane rates. So many people have learned about so much new music through TikTok. I've learned about so much new music through TikTok personally, finding these newer, smaller artists who are on the rise. I remember when names like, Ken Carson and Jace were floating around in the early days of 2021 on TikTok, and people were finding out who these people were, and other artists as well. Like, fans have discovered so much music through TikTok, old songs that are becoming viral again, old trends that are becoming viral again. Like, this has just been the best space for music encountering that has ever existed. And it's not even necessarily a music app. There's just so much knowledge and so much like intel being spread about music between fans that it's really good as a music listener. It's something that I enjoy. I can go and scroll on TikTok and find the most nichest niche of niche artists without even having to do much research. And it's just there because that's just kind of how TikTok exists. A major example of this is the LiAngelo Ball song recently. LiAngelo Ball's song, the I Might Swerve and that tweaker, that was viral before it came out. Once the snippet was, recorded or whatever on Neon Stream, that streamer on Kick, and it was uploaded to TikTok, it spread like wildfire. In a span of like 2 or 3 days, you couldn't go 2 or 3 scrolls without hearing that new LiAngelo Ball snippet. That's how amazing the TikTok algorithm is in terms of fans discovering music, not just people getting their music found, but the masses as well finding new music. It's amazing for it. And another example of this is the Opium Collective. That whole group from 2021 until now, look at the massive growth that they've had. And I would attest a lot of that to TikTok. A lot of that growth came from, Ken Carson's music being trending on TikTok and Playboy Cardi and like all of them, everyone in Opium, not just the smaller guys, and Cardi included. They've all massively benefited from TikTok helping spread their fan base, because a lot of these guys, Ken and Lone kind of, but like a lot of these guys in Opium, they're not posting a whole bunch of music. Cardi doesn't post a whole bunch of music. So guess what? People are becoming fans via the fans. The fans are the ones doing the work and saying, nah, you got to listen to this, find this leak, nah, play this, look at this outfit, look at this performance, look at this. The fans honestly did a lot of the work for this Opium wave and making it as big as it is and introducing it into new fans. And they were doing this through TikTok. Look at the performances from Rolling Loud just a few weeks ago. The day 3 performances, the day with Cardi and Ken and all them. If you watch Ken Carson's performance and you watch Lil Baby's performance, you would think that Ken Carson is the guy that sold over 200K first week and had #1 albums and #1 songs and top 5 Billboard hits. You would think that Ken Carson is the guy with that, and Lil Baby is the guy who's kind of on the come up and he's very popular, but he's not like quite at the heights of like a Lil Baby. You would think that Ken Carson was the Lil Baby in the situation, but that's just because of how popular Opium has become with the spreading of social media, in particular TikTok. The whole Opium wave has become a huge thing in rap because of TikTok. TikTok gave music fans basically the largest forum in the world to talk about music, which I know I mentioned earlier as kind of a bad thing, but it's definitely a positive as well. With millions able to share their opinions via posts and comment sections, you really get a feel for how the people feel about music. And again, you get to expose people to new music because it's not just mainstream music being talked about on TikTok. There are niches of niches of niches of music being talked about with thousands of comments and thousands of posts and a whole bunch of content creators talking about it on there, which also helps really people to kind of understand what's genuine and what's not, because there are a whole bunch of campaigns being ran on TikTok all the time by labels and big companies and stuff, but you can kind of tell, at least it's very easy in comparison to other social media platforms, which are genuine and which really aren't. And again, labels can pay for promo on TikTok, even from, the content creators that are just by themselves and independent of any major companies or any major labels. But at the end of the day, if you go on the music side of TikTok, you know that they really do not like that stuff. Like, the people on TikTok do not like paid promo, any of that type of stuff. They will call it out and say, bro, you're just doing this for a bag. You're just trying to get a bag. LOL, bro's just trying to get a bag. And they will call you out immediately. I know they call you out on other platforms, but it's really, really potent on TikTok. Like, you can't get away with any paid promo on TikTok. They know. Trust me. I know. I've done paid promo a few times on TikTok, and every single time, more than half of the comments are just like, bro, you just did this for a bag. How much did they pay you? How much did they pay you? Like, you do not get away with paid promo on TikTok. So that's why I really stopped doing it as a whole towards the end of my TikTok run. But on TikTok, people are ready to sniff stuff out, and everyone's going to call it out. Not to mention the thousands of rap content creators like myself who made a bunch of amazing content. There are so many people breaking down lyrics, explaining aspects of the art, breaking news, and just being genuine in their overall coverage. This is super important because sometimes the older media figures that are backed by these huge media corporations can feel disingenuous and maybe even bought out. It's clear when a media company is kind of like pushing an artist or pushing a certain narrative, but with TikTok came a lot of creators like myself who came in with over 100,000 followers, up to 500,000, up to millions of followers, and have a real impact, but they're giving real opinions without having to worry about a company shackling them or a record label shackling them. The only shackle that they had is to their audience and to the people, and that's exactly how the media should operate. With TikTok now possibly going away, a lot of real hip hop fans will say that this is a good thing because we'll get less gimmicky artists. We're less likely to get like the Ice Spices of the world becoming super popular. But anyone that has genuinely interacted with the TikTok rap space will tell you that there's a lot of really good stuff that comes from it, and probably more good stuff than bad, at least in my opinion. Look at somebody like Doechii, who's looked at as somebody who's next up by the real rap fans. A lot of her rise has come from TikTok and people spreading her music on TikTok. TikTok allowed everyone to be a player in the rap landscape, from listener all the way up to creator, and this was without any radio stations, major media companies, or even playlisting on a streaming service. TikTok really is a power to the people kind of revolution where the people just get to kind of control what goes on. And of course, there were major corporations trying to get in on it and paying for campaigns, and they would do their thing. And sometimes it would even work, but it would only work if people actually liked it. So at the end of the day, people were at least liking the paid for, bought out, sold their soul, campaigns that were popping up on TikTok. But overall, TikTok being gone is going to be a major loss for the rap scene in terms of small artists being able to get the recognition that they probably wouldn't be able to get on any other platform, and fans being able to spread music to other fans who just don't know about any of the other stuff going on out there. Being able to spread music, create their own content about the music, and just overall blossom rap into a much bigger and much more diverse community. But that's going to be the end of my video. If you made it this far, I greatly, greatly appreciate you. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. It helps me out a ton. Have a good day. I go by the name of Pay. Peace.